Hello and welcome to this video where we want to talk about Camel JBang infrastructure. All right, so let's dive in. First of all, I'd like to introduce what Camel JBang can do for the developer. Now, at some point, the developer is going to have to work on a particular implementation, and ideally, he's going to enter a fast prototyping phase. And Camel JBang can really boost the speed at which this prototyping happens by providing functionality and commands such as starting and stopping Camel instances, launching infrastructure. To test your processes, you can send and receive events and see how the system reacts, look at the logs or other parts of the processes in Camel, do live code changes, and so on. But today we want to really focus on a certain command, the infra command, and this is to launch infrastructure. This is based on Testcontainers and it's going to use your Docker environment to launch locally bits of infrastructure, and this is going to really save a lot of time to the developer that doesn't have anymore the hassle to deal with real systems to be provisioned on a cluster or something like that. Is really going to allow him or her to work and concentrate on the work they have to do on the application itself. All right, so let's see that more in detail with the demo, and I'm sure you will understand better. So the first thing we are going to look at is an XML service that is like a node service that we need to modernize. All right, so let's jump to VS Code. This is VS Code and the Kaoto extension that allows you to create and work with Camel routes in a visual manner. And what we have in front of us is a simplistic, but I think good enough Camel route that that we need to just showcase what Camel Infra can do for us. And all this is doing really is exposing an HTTP entry point. So when we have requests coming in, then we are going to prepare a response here in XML format, as you can see, where we are going to just simply map an ID header that corresponds to the customer ID and then just simply respond. Right. So we have a button here that we can use to trigger this process to start up with Camel JBang, and immediately we see that it gives us an endpoint that is exposed, and we can use in a browser, for example. So let's just copy that address there. Now we see that we get that XML back, except that now is empty because we haven't passed the query parameter yet. But we can do this by doing so. We pass the ID 123, for example, and yes, we see that the value has been mapped there in the XML response. All right, so that was the first thing we wanted to look at, this XML service. And going back to the slide, let's just explain a little bit what do we need to do. Right, so this service is going to be modernized, and we want to expose it as JSON, and this would allow JSON clients to connect and integrate. Now, this guy, we are going to call it the facade of the service, is not going to do much. It's going to be very thin because we really rely on the backend to do the work. And they are going to be interconnected and they are going to interact, but we are going to use the infra command, what we want to look at, to actually launch a broker that is going to enable this connectivity. Now, this broker is going to enable the AMQP protocol so that we can speak, so that we can bridge this HTTP traffic into AMQP, which is asynchronous. And as an added bonus or benefit, these would allow other third-party event-driven applications to also integrate in case we wanted to do some other work. Okay, so let's see how the infra command is going to really save that time so that the developer can really focus on implementing, do the work that he really needs to do here rather than spending time with infrastructure. Okay, so here we are again in VS Code, and the first thing I want to show to you is the my Podman desktop that shows a little bit my Docker environment, you see that it says that I have at the moment no running containers. Okay, so the moment nothing is happening. So what we intend to do now is actually use the infra command. So let's see what happens then. I'm going to open a terminal here, and this is sort of the magical command, camel infra run Artemis. Now, if you aren't familiar with Artemis, Artemis is perhaps you know about ActiveMQ or AMQ. So that's a sort of JMS broker that can talk over the AMQP protocol. All right, so I'm going to launch it, and when I do so, Camel JBang is going to kick off, the container, and there it is. It gives us all the connectivity details that we have here available. And if we look back to Podman desktop, we see that actually two containers are running now. So one is the ActiveMQ Artemis broker, and the other one is a test containers management container that is going just. We don't need to worry about this one. This is just going to clean up things once we are done with our testing. Okay, so what is great about this Artemis broker is that not only is there now available for us, but also it comes with an admin console that we can look at. So you see it's running locally, and if we go back to our browser, we can actually connect to that console. If I refresh this page, you see that this is running localhost, and I can pass the Artemis credentials to log in. And when I do so, we see here a dashboard, but more importantly, I see the addresses that are by default there, which typically are system addresses. And we'll come back to this admin console because once Camel is running, we'll see that things will be happening here so that we can understand a little bit what's going on. All right, so our broker is up and running. This is the admin console. We are ready to start working on our implementation. All right, so you see how I didn't have to, put any effort on provisioning the system that I need to do my work. Okay, so what we want to do next is create a new entry point. So we have the HTTP one, but we want to now consume AMQP messages. So I'm going to create here a new Camel root. And so this gives us the default timer to log process, but we can very quickly go and replace the timer by the AMQP consumer. So this is it. I'm going to click here to configure this one. And the first thing I need to specify is a queue from where I want to consume events. So I'm going to say customer request. Okay, so that's one bit I need to configure. And the second part is the connectivity, where that broker is, right? So I need to connect this consumer to the broker. And for that, I can specify the connection factory here by choosing this connection that I have predefined earlier. Let me show that to you very quickly. So if I go here to beans and I scroll up, you see that this is the bean that I have pre-configured, where I've given this name, and here the class to the connection factory. You see this is a JMS connection factory, and just right below I had to map a parameter, so with the remote URI where this broker is running, and of course this is the local host address that I need to use here, except I'm using the AMQP scheme, right? So Camel JBang is going to give me these connectivity details to set up my connection factory. All right, so that's done. Now I can keep working on my consumer. Right, so I'm going to be consuming events, and basically I want to mimic this same behavior. So I'm going to just also respond in the same manner with XML. So I'm going to just create there a set body, and I'm going to paste exactly the same type of response where I pick the header and I map it there. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so of course I've done live coding, and Camel JBang has picked up all the changes. So if I go back to the admin console, I should be able to see on the addresses. Effectively, I see there is addresses, but this is the last one is the customer request where Camel is already listening to, and in here basically. So I can fire. Actually, I can test this right away if I send a message to this address. I'm going to say send a message, And I'm going to add a couple of headers. So one is going to be the ID of the customer. So let's say this is going to be 456. And the second is going to be the queue where I want Camel to reply to. So this is a JMS header. And there I can say test response. I just want to test this out. Okay, so I'm going to send this message and see what happens. So when I fire this, Camel should pick this up. And effectively, we see that a new queue, a new address has been created when probably Camel has responded, right? So if I go into here, I should find an event, the event that Camel has given us back. So we can inspect that. We can browse this queue. And we see that there's a message in there, and this is something we can inspect by clicking show. And effectively, we see here that we have the 456 value mapped into the customer data in XML. Right, so this is good. So now we have this portion already in place. We see that we have the our backend service that is able to speak AMQP. So now we can focus on the facade and then we can test the end-to-end. All right, so let's do that. We go back to VS Code, and from VS Code here, what I need to do really is create the facade. So I'm going to say, okay, create a new root. I'm going to call this root. I'm going to give it a description here. I'm going to say this is the service facade. And now this is going to, I'm going to replace the timer, and this should be an HTTP entry point, right? And we can define this here by defining the path. So it's going to be same as the service one, but this is going to be the facade. So I'm going to do it like that. And what we want to bridge is incoming traffic into AMQP. So basically I can choose here the AMQP producer. I also need to configure this. So I need to aim for a queue where an address where messages should be sent to. So I'm going to put here, of course, customer request. All right, so that's there, but I need to configure the connectivity, of course. So I'm going to say the same connection factory as before. And also I want to configure the reply to, right, where I want my responses to come back to which address. So I'm going to say this time, I'm going to say customer response. So we have already tested the reply to functionality. We know that that works. Okay, very good. So that's in place. And lastly, of course, we are going to get XML back at this point. So we need to convert that into JSON. That's what the facade is going to do. And for that, we can use a very handy component in Camel that is called XJ. And this one allows users or developers to customize and map the response that you want, but actually it has a very nice feature. If you use the identity command or identity instruction here, it can automatically make the transformation, and we can select two directions. So in this case, we want from XML to JSON, and we do like that. Okay, so that's in place. And we should have the now this process also loaded. So let's go and try this in the browser. Okay, so this is the old service. I can modify here a little bit just to see that this keeps working. So this is the old service. Of course, we get XML back. But we want to do now, we want to point to the facade. So I'm going to say here facade. And now what I would expect is, instead of XML, is to get some JSON. And there it is. So this is the JSON response that has been translated from XML to JSON, and so this would go to a JSON client as a response. All right, so very good. So, and that's it. This is the implementation we needed to do. We went super quick because we didn't need to worry about the infrastructure. Now that we are done, what we can do is we can go back to VS Code and just simply shut down our Artemis broker. So we can just play any key there. So now this is stopped, and we can verify this. If we go to Podman Desktop, you'll see that the container is gone, and this management container, when it sees that everything is gone, it also auto destroys, and again we go back to no containers running. Very good. And of course Camel here is complaining because we lost connectivity to the broker, but at this point we can just simply shut down everything, and we can say our job has completed. Very good. So we have tested the end-to-end, and that worked, as you saw. We spent no time in having to provision this because it was a sort of like a 1 second command to run, and it enabled to really concentrate and put all our time into the implementation of the service. And with that, if you really liked what you saw and you'd like to read a little bit more in detail the particularities of this demo and the features of the infra command, then head to the article. This is the link. If not, on the description of this video down below, you should also find the link. And if not, at the very end of this recording, you should have a little window here that appears that you can click and also jump to the article. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye.